Let us take example based on what we have studied about the methods of charging and properties of charge. So I am taking first example on this. Question is written here. We have three identical conducting spheres A, B, C. They are shown A, B and C. They are identical. They are made of same material. They have same radius. So they are identical. Now what we are saying that the first one A is neutral, B is having positive charge and C is having negative charge. So we want to arrange them in decreasing order of mass. So what should be the order? We have to arrange the highest mass, then the lowest, highest to lowest mass. You can think for this. I am giving you 30 seconds. So, have you got the answer? Let me explain how we should attempt this question and how we can use our theory. So, now we start with the question, arrange them in decreasing order of mass. So, the question arises from this point, how we can say something about mass. So, the words in the question will give hint and our theory will also support us. We are given that they are identical spheres. So first thought gives us that they are identical, then they should have same mass. So this is first thought, identical should have same mass. If we are saying that they are identical, that means they should have same mass. But one thing more what we have studied about that charge cannot exist without mass. Charge cannot exist without mass. This is the another statement we have written previously in the properties of charge. So identical should have same mass and charge cannot exist without mass. And the third one property that we have written initially, that only electron can transfer from one object to other. So basically the first one is the statement used in the question, and these two are our theory knowledge. So by including these three, we can comment about the mass of these three. So charge cannot exist without mass. That means if we are giving some charge, there should be some mass. If this is neutral and this is given some positive charge, so there should be difference in mass because of the charges. Charge can't come without mass. Similarly, this is also charged, so its mass should be different. So next thought goes to us that this neutral body will have less mass and these two charged bodies should have greater mass. From the identical, we have concluded that they should have same mass. From the second statement, our conclusion goes that the neutral body will have lesser mass and these two charged body will have greater mass, and we should think that the body which is having, nothing is said about which body is having greater charge. So it becomes difficult for us to conclude which is having greater mass. But we have one more statement, only electron can be transferred from one object to the other. So by the knowledge of third statement, now we can easily conclude that which will having greater mass. From positively charged body, to have positively charged body, we should have to remove electron. So from B, electrons are removed because only by removing negative charge we can provide positive charge, because positive and negative both are present and they are providing it as a neutral body. So we have to extract electron to make it positively charged. So from B electrons are removed. So when we have removed electron, so some mass is also removed. Some mass is also removed because electron have mass. Although this difference is very light, but still the difference is present. If we are asked to compare, then we have to give proper answer. Almost they have same mass, but the difference is being asked, so we are saying about that. From B electrons are removed, so mass is also removed, and because electron have some mass, so we can say definitely that body B is having less mass than body A. Now what about C? In case of C, this is negatively charged, so for C electrons are supplied. For C electrons are supplied because electron have negative charge. To make it negatively charged, we have to provide it electron. By providing electron, we are also providing it some mass. So in this way, the C body becomes heavier than all of these. So we can say that the C is having greatest mass, then the body B, then the body A, and least mass is body B. So when we give some negative charge to the neutral body, we get C. So its mass becomes greater than A. When we remove negative charge from A, we get body B, so its mass will be reduced. So our order for this will be C, A, B. Okay. Now we take another question. Question number 2. What happens to charges when two identical objects are brought into contact? By these 4 questions I want to give some more information, although after completing this chapter you will become more comfortable to solve such type of questions, but just we have discussed something about conduction and induction, so based on that I have taken some easy questions, so you can think for that. So my first question, that is second question here, we have discussed first question, now this is second question. What happens to charges when two identical objects are brought into contact? So you have two objects which are exactly identical, so they are of same shape, same type of, same made. So if this is having some charge Q1 and this is having some charge Q2 and they are brought in contact, so I am making in contact with the help of wire. By connecting wire, they are in contact. So my question is, what happens to the charges? So here also the statement identical will help us, although we don't know about many formulas of the chapter, but by the nature of identical we can say that they should have same charges. So the result of this is that the charge will be distributed such that the identical objects will acquire equal charges. Why should they have different charges? Because they are identical, they should have same. So let us call the charge on one is X, so charge on another should be X. And now we know the principle of conservation. So here we have two types of statements which are helping us. One is identical, and other is conservation of charge. So these two, identical and conservation of charge, will help us to solve this question, question number 2. So because of identical nature, I have taken same charge, X and X, they should have same charge. And because of conservation of charge, I can say that Q1 plus Q2 should be equal to 2x. X plus X is 2x. Total charge remain unchanged, so X should be equal to Q1 plus Q2 by 2. So our answer for the question number 2 is that when two identical objects are brought into contact, their charges will equally distributed. So we will first add the total charge, then divide it by 2. So this is the answer for question number 2. Now let me rub this and we should go for the third question. What third question says? Can a body supply all its charge to other body in contact? This is the question. Can a body supply all its charge to other body? So you can think for it for 30 seconds and then I will explain this. Can a body supply all its charge to other body in contact? So there might be two types of answer, yes or no. You can think for this. This question requires further information, your reading capabilities, how much you have read from other books, previous knowledge will help you. I have not taught something about this. My previous lecture part will not help you to solve this. Just for your memory check, I have written this question. Can a body supply all its charge to other body in contact? So let me explain this answer for this. So how a new student can think for this? Suppose we have one body, this is having 2 coulomb charge, this is having 3 coulomb charge. When we are going to connect them, what we will say that if two bodies are identical, then they will get 2 plus 3 by 2. All of them will get half of the total. But this is not the question. Question says that if this is 2 coulomb, this is 3 coulomb, is it possible that the one body is having 0 charge and another body is having 5 coulomb charge? Is this possible? So in first thought it appears that how this can be possible. If this body is of smaller size or any other case, it must have some charges. So according to, in first thought, we can't say about this, but the answer to this question is yes. And answer is based on the experience, not on the previous part that is being taught. I will explain in later way, but just I am going to give you hint here. Suppose you have two buckets. One is of larger size and one is of smaller base area. They are having equal height, but their base area are different. When I connect them through a pipe, water is filled in one bucket, other is empty. So you will see that this water will flow from this side to this side. But still, you have a case in which the level of water will decrease, but there will be some water in the smaller bucket. You can't remove this complete water. You cannot remove this. So height of this liquid level will decrease, but still there will be some water on this. So the liquid is flowing because of difference of level, and when the level difference becomes equal, the flow stops. Similarly, charge flows because of potential difference. If potential difference becomes 0, charge will not flow. So here we can say that in this example, the water flow will continue till the level becomes equal. Similarly, charge flow will continue till the potential becomes equal. So what happens when I connect a bucket with C? On one side we have C and on other side we have bucket. So when I connect a full bucket with a C, I will say that the level of bucket will decrease and the level of C will increase, but you will say that level of C will never increase. So whole of the water will go to the sea. So this can happen when we have very large object connected with the smaller object. So the whole of the water can flow to this object. Similarly, whenever you connect a charged object with earth, it get neutralized. So in home we say that earthing. So when you connect a charged body to earth, the electron from the earth will transfer to the body and the body becomes neutral. So here we are connecting two objects. One is this object and the other object is of very large size, earth, that can't be shown here. So that is represented symbolically. Earth is connected with the object, so whole charge of the object goes to earth. This is one of the example. One more example that can be given here. So just for your information I am giving, this is also a practical, you can do this. In this case what you have to do, when you have a charged body inside another body, when we have a charged body inside another body, and when you connect this, the whole charge of the body goes to the outer body. It is having Q1 charge, this is having Q2 charge. We have a hollow conductor inside another conductor which is having Q1 charge, and this hollow conductor is having Q2 charge. Now we have connected these two. When you connect these two, what you will get, the inner object will have zero charge after connection, and the outer object will take all of the charge, so its charge becomes Q1 plus Q2 and its charge becomes 0 when they are connected. So I have given two examples for the information for you, that it is possible that you can transfer whole of the charge from one body to another body. There are two methods. First, you should keep the object inside the object, or you will connect the object with very large object like earth. In that case you can transfer whole of the charge just by connecting this. The whole charge will go here, electron will go from earth to this object and this object become neutral. So answer of the question number 3 is that can a body supply all its charge to other body in contact? The answer is yes. So now we have discussed question number 3. Now we are going to discuss question number 4. So let us see what question number 4 says. Is charge always flow from high surface density charge object to low surface density charge object? What it means that this question also asks that you have to give answer yes or no, and this is all based on experience, and we have just started the chapter, you have no experience, so you can do it hit and trial just for searching, or any method you can think for this. Is charge always flow from high surface density charge object to low surface charge density object? Let me explain this question by example and then ask to you. We have one sphere which is of smaller radius. We have another sphere which is of, let us assume its radius be r, so its radius be 2r. So its surface area is 4 pi r square. Its surface area is 4 pi into 2r square. So its surface area is 16 pi r square 4 times. So when the radius of sphere becomes double, surface area becomes 4 times. So we are saying that if this is having q charge and this is having 4q charge, this is having q charge and this is having 4q charge, its area is 4 times, we have given charge also 4 times, now their surface charge density becomes equal. So can we say that when we close this, there will be no flow of charge because charge density on surface is same for both. So there is a question regarding to this. Is charge always flow from high surface charge density object to low surface charge density object? So this question might have that there will be no flow of charge or there will be flow of charge, or suppose I increase this charge, let us say this charge as a 2q. Now when I increase this charge to 2q, its surface charge density becomes greater, twice of this. So is charge will flow from 2q to 4q, or charge will flow from 4q to 2q, or charge will not flow? The same question can be expressed in terms of numerical by giving this example. And whatever I have taught, that will not help you. These questions are just to develop your nature, to think when you have no previous thoughts, and at the end of chapter you will easily solve this question. But here, because we are at the beginning of the chapter, it appears to be tough. So let me first give you answer. The one who says that, yes, that means such type of statements are being made by students or teachers or any other who don't follow the rules of physics. We have only two choices to tell the truth. Either we should experiment this, or even experimentation should be proper. If we are not doing properly, then we are not getting the proper result. If we are doing this as it is and we are capable to measure them, then definitely we will get the truth. And the second method, what is that those who have done experiment, they have made some rules, they have made some statements, and follow that. If any statement is given by them and we are using that, then we are near to the truth. If we are making our own statement, suppose this appears to be that someone can make this appears to be good, that the charge will try to make same surface charge density. Such things make physics tough. There are many situations in which student can make statements by their feeling, that I feel like this. But physics will not follow the feeling, it will follow the experimentation. It is as it is. We have to make our logic based on practical, not based on our feeling. So I can say that this appears to be true, but this is a false statement. Is charge always flow from high surface charge density to low surface density? My answer will be no to this question. And what about this question? If this is having 2q and this is having 4q, so is charge will flow from this object to this object? So answer to this question is, charge never try to make surface density equal. Charge never try to make equal surface density. If this is the case, then in our previous question, this cannot be possible. We have discussed previous question in which whole of the charge goes from one object to the another object. This was my example to you, although you know or don't know, either you know or don't know, but I have given this result to you, that whole of the charge of this object will go to this. This means this rule is breaking in this example. So by the knowledge of previous example, you can definitely say that this should be false. So just by the previous information you can reach to the fourth question and you can give the answer. But I am giving another statement that charge never try to make equal surface density. It only try to make potential difference zero. in 10th class you have studied that to flow current we need some potential difference. So flow of charge requires some potential difference. So it will try to make their potential same, and by the knowledge of formula of potential I can say that its potential is K2Q by R and its potential is K4Q by 2R. So potential of both are equal, V1 and V2 are equal, so there is no flow of charge. No flow of charge. Here we are saying, we can say that its surface charge density is twice of this, because charge is 2q, surface charge density is 2q upon 4 pi r square, charge upon area. Total charge is 2q, area is 4 pi r square. Its total charge is 4q and area is 16 pi r square. So you can say that its surface charge density is half of this, q by 4 pi r square. This is q by 2 pi r square. This is having twice surface charge density, but still there is no flow of charge from this object to this object, because we have no such statement that charge try to make same surface charge density. It only try to make same potential, make potential difference 0. It only try to make potential difference 0. So answer to this question is no. Now I am going to shift to the question number 5. So we have discussed up to question number 4. All these questions are some informative, and also by giving this example I want to increase your knowledge regarding some charge. My question number 5 is, repulsion is sure test of electrification. What it means? If the two objects repels, then we can definitely say that they are charged. This statement says that if two objects repels, we can definitely say that they are charged. Yes or no? This is the question. So let me explain this. I will try to explain this. So question number 5 is, repulsion is sure test of electrification. So what it means, that if object will repel, then we can definitely say that they are charged. That means if they are attracting, we can't say, but only in case of repulsion we can say that they are charged. So what we know in nature, we have force called as gravitational force, we have electrostatic force, we have magnetic force. For the nuclear force also, but that is not our in interest. For the objects we can have these three type of forces. So if two objects are attracting, it is always attractive, it is never repulsive. So two objects can attract each other because of gravitational force, but this is of very small magnitude, so practically we can't observe this gravitational force between small objects. Magnetic force is to be, we have seen magnetic force as attractive force. So here we have no moving charges or current, so there is possibility of magnetic force. Is there any possibility of magnetic force? So we have initially discussed that whenever charge flows, it will produce magnetic field and it can act like a magnet in our discussion on properties of charge. So here we have just two objects, there is no flow of charge, so there is no possibility of magnetic force. in daily life we can say that we have example of magnet and iron. They can attract, and if we have definitely two objects like two magnet north south, if they are repelling each other, so they can be neutral. If they are not magnet, so first we have to make sure if this repulsion can exist in case of magnets. So for the case of electrification we have to first verify that the objects are not magnet, then we can say that this statement is true. Why we are saying that attraction cannot be a short test of electrification? For that I want to say that we have discussed about method of induction. Suppose we have a charged body, this is a charged body, and we have a neutral body, charged body and a neutral body. Because of induction, electrons are shifted on this corner and this side becomes positively charged. So electrons are being nearer, they are attracted by a greater force. Let me call this as F1, and these positive charge are residing on the far side. So they will feel repulsive force, but their force will be in smaller magnitude because of greater distance. So overall F1 being greater, and they feel attractive force. So we can say that a neutral body can attract, a charged body can attract a neutral body. So by the case of attraction, we cannot be sure that both bodies are being charged. But if two bodies are having same type of charge, only then they can repel. So two body can attract in two cases: when it is having opposite type of charge, then they will attract, or when one is neutral, then also then they can attract. But repulsion will be only when both are charged, either both are negatively charged or either both are positively charged. So we can say that if we have no magnetic substance, then we can definitely say that the two body will be, both of the body will be charged when they are feeling repulsive force, because attractive force can exist in neutral body also. One body being neutral, then this can happen. Let me ask one more last question on this, that is it possible to have a charged body having half coulomb charge? Question number 6. A body can have charge half coulomb. True or false? A body can have charge half coulomb. True or false? This is a question for you to think. You can think for this. Is it possible that a body can have charge of half coulomb? So have you thought for this? Have any thought? Let me solve this for you. Some might think that why it can't be possible. Everything is possible, so it should be, it may be possible. How we can solve this question? It is just asking that can a body have half coulomb charge? If we will give half coulomb charge, then it will have. So can have, it can have, we will say that it is true. Or some might say that no, we have said that the charge should be in integral multiple, charge is quantized, so half is there, so it should be not that, it should be 1 coulomb, 2 coulomb, like this. So we have to check this. So what is our exact statement is this: charge of a body will be integral multiple of electronic charge. If this equation is satisfied, then we can say that the statement is true. For this, n should be integer. If n is integer, then we can say that this statement is true. So let us put this value. This q is half coulomb, so this is half coulomb. Here positive charge, so let me take positive. Electronic charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So here what we are getting, 10 to the power 19 in numerator and 2 into 1.6 in denominator. This should be integer. So we can write 100 into 100 instead of 100, let us take 1000 into 10 to the power 1 taking 1 0 here, 20 taking 3 17 divided by 2 into 16. From 2 this can divide it to 500 divided by 2, 250 divided by 2, 125 by 2 into 10 to the power 17. Now take 10 on this side, 1250, 625 into 10 to the power 16. This is an integer value. So this is an integer. What this integer represents? 6250000, counting 16 0. So this is possible. Can a body have charge 1 by 2 coulomb? Let us say it in terms of true or false. We should say yes or no. So we are saying yes. Yes, this is possible. Okay.